Hi guys, this is Joseph from Jouleconcepts. How are you doing today? So today we're going to look at a very quick thing, and it's just something I've been working with lately, and I just felt to share with you. I've done a couple of things here, so this part I felt to just do it before just creating this. So basically, what we're going to be looking at today is assets browser. And what is asset browser? Basically, it's just a way of compiling all the models that you have and putting them in a stored location and then linking to that stored location from Blender. So why is that important? It's because you can actually take those models which you've already stored in a place on your either on your hard disk or on your system hard drive, and you can just drag and drop in any future project you have. So you don't have to be looking for files or trying to append every time. So you just have them stored in Blender's directory and you can just use. So basically that is what is. I've done a couple of things. I'll just quickly show you. And the way you access it is to if I drag this and just create another window and change this window to assets browser, and you're going to see a couple of stuff that I have created here. So you see um, here you see a couple of menus. You have your file view menu, which allows you to just change a couple of view style. You have your selection, how to allows you to select, and then your catalog, which I'm going to look at, is something you need by the time we're done with this tutorial. And then you have your assets as well to allow you to create a new assets style. So you have that. And then if you look down under this menu, you have this category selector where you can select what category of things you want. So right now it's selecting all libraries, and that's why you're seeing all of these libraries listed here. And inside the libraries, you now have the types or the kinds of libraries that you can see here. If I go to my current file, it's going to show me things I have in my current file that I've created as asset. But because I've not created anything in this project or in this file as an asset, so you don't see anything here. So basically, you're going to be seeing whatever assets in this section that says no item. If I go to all, you see that these are all the assets we have. You see a few brushes, a few models, and all of that. So you also have essentials, which comes with Blender, which is this hair object and then the brush. You can already see them. So you see a few things. You can see once I select hair, you see different object that you can use. You have your normal, you can use for other things, and then the brush as well. Then if you click on user library, so this is where you can start to point to a particular location. So this is where you can set to that place. Okay, I want to point to some location so that by the time I try fire up my assets browser, then that will be able to point there and get those models from that location and using another project. And I've already created one for my plants. So this is my own library that I've created for plants. This is J plants library. If I click on this, you're going to see that it's going to show me the categories that are under this JPlant library. And if I go to unassign, nothing. But if I click on all here, it shows me all the categories that I have, all the things that are modeled in this category. So basically, it brings out all these my categories out. If I click on grass, it shows me all the grasses, all the rocks, and then all of the trees. So I could just come here, and how do you use it? Just drag and place them here. It's going to be on that floor. You can see that. And if you also look for another model, I can just drag and drop, drag and drop. It's as easy as that. You can see that. You can see all of this, how easy it is to just bring your model and use. You can quickly populate your what's it called? You can quickly populate your scene by creating a mini forest, which you can just have all of it. Now the good thing here is that it doesn't only take the model, it also takes the material. So if I come to material view, you're going to see that the material will show. So because I'm just opening this section now, so it's taking a bit more time to calculate, and um, bring out the material. You can already see that the materials are already loaded in the scene and they are high detail trees that I have here. So by the way, if you're asking where I got these trees from, they are free trees. I have a couple of places where I download stuff like this high quality free models. So one of them is CG Traders, you have Sketchfabs, you have Turbo Squid, and so on and so forth. So you could just go into any of those things, create an account with them, and then just search and filter by free. You will see all of these things. So basically, this is how this is. So how do I create this? So the first thing you notice is that you notice I have a library. So how do I create my own new library? So I've also gone ahead to download some cars that I want to be using in a particular project that I have coming on. So I didn't want to put them as library just like that. I wanted to show you a tutorial how you can set that. So I will just do that on that side. So I'll just delete all these things that I have here. And these are all of the cars that I have. And so the things to note when you are doing this is to make sure that all the cars you want to have as that model, they are all brought into one scene file, not separate scenes, all right, so that it will allow you bring them out. So all the trees you are seeing there and rock and grasses, they are in one Blender file, right? So and so that's why I went to download all of these things, brought them from their file into this single file and save them, and that's what's to note. So I can open this, you see that this is one car. I can also hide, look at another car, and you can see that as well. So all of the cars are here in this scene. I even have Formula One vehicle that I'm also going to be putting into this. All right, so you have that right there. So first things first is I want to create a category, create a library or assets catalog, which is asset library rather. So how do I create asset library? I can just go to my edit preferences. And then if I go to my file part, which is this last part, if you scroll down, you will see this section that says assets library. And you can already see that I have the JPlan that I showed you earlier here. So I want to create new one. So what I'll do is just click on this plus, and it wants me to navigate to the place where I want this to be. So I know that this file. So another thing to note is that once you have all of these objects, all of the models in this file that you want to save it in the folder that you want to point to. It's very important. You want to save it in that folder that you're going to be pointing to. So, and then before you save, you want to also make sure that your external data automatically pack resources enabled so that it will also pack any resources, textures that you have along with your model. So I've already gone ahead to save this file. So Control S. I have a path which in my Blender file, which is called JVehicle library. So I've already saved that there. If I go to file, save as, I'm going to see that I have this. This is the plant library. So I've already created this. And this is the file itself, which is car. You can see it's 1.5 gig. All right. So once I have that done, then I need to point to it. Go to file, edit. Sorry, go to edit preferences. Come to file paths. Click on this plus. I want to navigate to where it is. It's in my documents, Blender, and then JVehicle. And I'll just click on that. So it's going to add this into that path. Then I'll just click on this hamburger menu and save my preference so that for every new project that I have, I'll just have that done. So once I'm done with that, the next thing there is to do will be to now start creating. If you look here now, you now see we now have J library, J plant library, and then J vehicle library. Clicking on J vehicle library, notice you don't see anything here now. So let's quickly create our different categories. Like you can see here, these are the libraries and these are the different categories of the assets, group of assets that we want. So if I go back to the vehicle, how do you do that? You have to go into this vehicle library And then under this all, you will see plus. Click on the plus. And I'm going to call this by the name of the cars that I have here. I know I have Mercedes Benz here. I also know that I have Corvette, I have Range Rover, I have Audi, and then I have Formula One. So let's just quickly create a couple of these guys. So I'll just double click this as well. I'll call this Corvette and double click. I'll call this Range Sports. I could just call it Range Rover. And then the last one, okay, I have Audi. So while I'm creating this, I'll add one more for the Formula One. So I'll just call this Formula One. So while I'm having all these categories, maybe later in future, I'm adding more Audis. I'll just put them inside the Audis folder. So I have them like that. Okay. So now I have this, but there's still nothing here. So what I need to do now is I need to create them as assets. So I'll just clear off all of these guys, which shouldn't be here, but that's not a problem anyway. So let's quickly do that. So first things first, I'm going to start with the range spots, open it. And the thing is, I have already put them in their own collection. So you will not want to click. Also, the downside to this is that the only time where you can make the model asset is when you know that the model is one mesh. You don't have parts, like in the case where you have all the different mesh parts, and then you can just right click on the mesh. But in this case where you have different parts which you don't want to join, it's always good to put them in a collection and then make that collection the assets, right? Because if I'm to do it separately, or I'm to do only the body and I make it collection, make it an asset, it's only going to bring this body alone. The tires will not go with it, and every other parts that are separate from this body will not go with it. So it's very important to note. So the solution would be that I will just come to the range spots that you're seeing here. I'll right click on it, and then I'll go to mark as assets, and then it's going to bring this range spots here. Right now, you're not seeing it in the Audi, but if I go to unassigned, it's going to come to the unassigned. All right, you see the range spots I have. So what I want to do now would now be to start bringing all the other ones here. All right, so let's bring this again. Right click on this, and then mark as asset. Notice while I'm marking them as assets, my icons start to have these um, three books that are laid here. This is to let you know that this object is an asset. All right, so I'll do this as well. Enable this one. You notice it doesn't have anything yet, Formula One. So if I right click and mark this as assets, now is now an asset. All right. So I'll do the same thing for this as well. So I'll just mark all these guys as assets, and then we can go and finish them off. So go to the Mercedes-Benz AQS 120. So just wait a bit. I have a lot of things here. So it's taking, so these Formula One models are high mesh models. So this will take a bit more time for them to, my system is just trying to get them off. So right click on this Mercedes collection, and then I'll just mark it as assets. Mark this as assets, and then I'll do the same thing for this as well. I just need to do everything and mark as assets. Almost, so I have two more, and then I have one last one to do. So just mark this as assets. And as I'm marking them, you see that it's being populated right here. So these are all of the assets that I have. So once I have them done, it still put them under unassigned because they are not assigned to any folder for organization. So let's quickly start assigning them. So I know this is the Audi. I'm going to drag this Audi into the Audi folder, and then it disappears, it goes. This is a Corvette. I'm going to drag it into the Corvette folder, it goes away. This Formula One, I'll drag into the Formula One folder. And I also have a few. So these are a few things to also note. How do you know? You know, we met some models while I was practicing. So how do you know which one you just created here? You will see that a few of these icons, there is this icon at the top there. That is to let you know that this is your current file. If you click on this, this is the current file. So these are the things you have in your current file. I created these ones in my current file. It's very important. So you will see this pencil at the top and book is to let you know that those are the things you created in this current file. All right. So I'll change this back to JVehicle. So I'll just pick all these ones that have these guys and put them in their position. So this is Formula One. I'll put that in the Formula One. And this is your Mercedes MB. I'll drag that into the Mercedes. And I also have the second Mercedes. I'll drag that here. And this is my range sports. I'll drag that into my range sports. So basically I'm done. All these ones were not created here, so I'll just let them be. So now I have all these in their various categories that I can now use for anything. So what I can do now is I can just select all of these guys and then disable them. But I still have this to drag out. So if I come to this Audi, I can drag this Audi out and you see that. If I come to this Colette, I want to bring that as well. I'll just drag that also into this space and you see that. So I have all these vehicles that I can use. You can see the color of these vehicles is to let you know that this is an asset, all right? So, and that will be controlling that. So you can pick any other option, range sport. I can drag my range sport right here and you see that. So I can use all of this at will without having to stress myself. So basically, this is all you how you create that. But then the next thing is you also need to note that you have these stars on these categories that you've created. This is to let you know that well, you've created these categories, but you've not really saved this catalog. So we need to go and save the catalog. And that's where the catalog menu comes to play. So if I click on catalog, I have option to save assets catalog, and that will save and you see that all the stars go away. And once that is done, you just need to save your file, Control S, and that it is. That is it. So if I go and open a new drawing or a new file, which is not that same file, I can just drag this out, go into my assets browser. Now I now have the JVehicle. If I go into the JVehicle, have these different categories that I can drag here. So even though this is not the file that I created them from, I've already points to the location, so I can always do that. So notice the step, point to that location, make the models and assets, make sure all of the models are in the same file, and then you'll be able to bring them in here. So if I come to the Audi, I'll just drag this Audi right here, and then I have my car. And the good thing here is that it also comes with the material. So if I click here, you notice that the material also follow along and I can just play with this and animate the car or just set it for rendering, drag this to this point as well. See that material also come out very fine. So basically this is what I wanted to show you guys, how you can set your assets browser, organize it, and then for every other project you have, you can just use it. I'll be creating more tutorials very soon and I'll be using a bit more of this in those things. So this is how you can create your own library of assets and use. So if you feel that this was helpful, please do give me a like and a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe because I do tutorials like this every day. You have a wonderful day and God bless you. Bye.